Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Upland Forum Show. I am your host, Councilman Garcia, where we shine a light on the people, the programs, and the possibilities shaping Upland, our great city and beyond too. Welcome to the show. Today's episode brings us some great updates from Recreation Development Services, and I also have another great special guest. This is really geared to your business community, so make sure that if you're listening, tuning in, make sure you share this with all your friends, especially those in business, because you don't want to miss it. But I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, just to kind of keep you hanging. Make sure you tune in as well too. So gives you guys a chance to get out there and share this as well too. So let me start with some recreation news really quick. We have some things happening in not only the Easter egg hunts coming up, so make sure you watch out for that. For more information, make sure that you reach out to the city website and look at recreation department as well too. We have a lot of activities happening as well. Just a quick also announcement for the weed abatement coordinator has inspected over almost 8,700 properties to date, when about 320 courtesy notices have been issued. So make sure that if you are doing your compliance, make sure so you don't get any additional notices as well too. And then we're going to have to just kind of talk a little bit more about that as well. So I wanted to keep the city news a little bit brief because I don't want to miss the opportunity to ask a lot of great questions for our next guest. And also, if you missed the state of the city, you missed out on a lot of great information. So make sure you watch the Upland Chamber. I believe they're going to be posting the full video on there as well too, so you can catch up a little bit about what you missed. So with that said, please allow me to introduce you guys to my guests. From Transworld Business Advisor, I have Jeff and Jenna. How are you guys?
Doing great, Carlos. How you doing?
So happy to be here. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I think the first time we spoke and everything you were telling me about what you do for businesses was just like, where were you guys all my life, right? For sure. So, and folks, if you're just joining us, thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you are following the Upland Forum. Make sure that you do share the stream as well too. And remember that this show is dedicated to resources, not only for our residents, but our business community. So even though some businesses may not be part of Upland, they do service our Upland area and could be very beneficial to a lot of folks that don't know about those hidden gems, just like what we're going to talk about now with Transworld as well too. So what do you guys say we get started?
Sounds good.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and share a bit about your professional backgrounds, please.
Absolutely. So I'll start off. So Jeff Konichko, owner, obviously, of Transworld Business Advisors. I've actually been in the Inland Empire, Ontario Upland area since 1976. And what really background, 25 years of distribution experience, director level, senior ops level, own my own business as a budget blinds franchise and ended up selling it and bought this business.
And I come from a real estate background. I spent many, many years, 18 plus years in residential real estate and had a team of agents. But what I found was I really enjoyed coaching those agents on how to start a business, a real estate business, and run a real estate business. So when Jeff started talking about business brokerage, where we're helping other entrepreneurs like build their business up and sell it, it was a wheelhouse that was perfect for both of us.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, what inspired you both to become these business brokers? And we're going to get a little bit deeper later on, but that's the main question to get us going.
Yeah. So again, I bought a failing franchise, being an entrepreneur, and turned that franchise around, was able to become rookie franchise of the year, and then ended up selling that business for 4 times what I bought it for through a business broker. And I'm like, wait, I can do this profession where you deal with entrepreneurs, help them get to their next level and make a great living at it. Absolutely, sign me up.
And additionally, I think that one of the things Jeff and I really liked about being a business broker is they're few and far between. As a residential real estate agent, you probably know many yourself. There's like over 400,000 residential real estate agents in California alone. But in the United States, there's like 4,000.
It's like 4,000 business brokers.
And so there's just so many businesses when they're ready to retire and move on that don't know about business brokers and what opportunities are available to them selling their business through a broker. So we really wanted to get out there and teach the community how we can serve them and make a difference.
That's great. And, in the business community, we're always, asked like, why'd you get started? Why did you do this? Why go, from a secure job to launching out on your own? I mean, are you nuts? Whatever, right? We've heard it all, right? So let me ask you, what's your personal mission or your why behind the work that you guys do?
That's a great question. So honestly, it's because growing up, I grew up in the community, and so seeing these generational type companies, whether it be the restaurant that you take your kids to, or the DMV that helps them get their driver's license, get that independence. We want to make sure that those businesses stay in the community. Again, a lot of people don't understand when they go to retire, they just think that I'm just going to wait till my end leases and close my doors. Well, now that they know we're out here, we can actually help them transition that to another entrepreneur that can keep that legacy going.
Yeah, and just to add to that, my whole family is entrepreneurs. My dad owned multiple AMCO transmission shops, and my mom and stepdad were in construction. And so watching them when they were ready to sell a business and transition out, and how that provided retirement for them, like that's just how I was raised. So to be able to show other people that that opportunity exists and help them, like Jeff said, keep great businesses in the community, but also then provide a retirement for the people that poured their heart and soul into those businesses.
I think one of the key connectors for me when I first met you guys also is your authenticity, right? You tend to meet a lot of business owners who it's all about the hard sale, right? Right out of the gate, first minute, 2 minutes, it's just, hey, this is what I do, this is what I can do for you, bang, bang, bang. And it's like you lose that personal connection and that personal touch with potential folks, right? And it's something that I really admire about folks in business like you that really make you feel comfortable that, hey, I can have a conversation with you. It doesn't mean that you're selling me something, because I really want to get to know what you're telling me about your business in a very safe environment is what I call it, right? Without having that hard sales pitch. And I'm sure you guys have come across that the same way too, right? Because it's a two-way street, interviewing folks for potentially working with them and also vice versa, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely based on relationships first and foremost. I mean, we want to make sure that whatever they're doing is right for them and their family and the community as well. We just, again, want to be involved with the community.
So in talking about community, let's talk a little bit about what type of businesses typically come to you for support. Are they mostly small, family run, large operations, or is it based by size?
It's a little bit of everything. We can handle everything from what we call a main street business. Literally, when you're driving down, in downtown Upland, like the businesses that you see, all the way up to like manufacturing businesses. So it's really about people who have built a good business that have like a good business to sell. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah, we want to make sure that, again, any size from 3 employees all the way up to hundreds of employees, we can handle all. We're industry agnostic, so it doesn't matter what industry they're in. Restaurants, liquor stores, gas stations, you name it, like we can help them out.
I think the key component is the business profitable, right? Is there actually income being generated that a new buyer would want to be able to come in and take over that income? Is there a little bit of systems, processes, and structures set up so there's actually something to pass on? The hardest thing is when we have like a solopreneur, they are the business. That's really challenging. So really the best businesses for us to sell are something where there's employees, there's some structure, and they're profitable.
And that kind of leads me to you talked about being a business broker, right? So for a lot of folks listening who have never heard about the opportunities that they can potentially have with you for their business, I guess it's plain and simple. What is a business broker and what exactly do you guys do, right? I think that's what everybody's going to ask you.
Yep. So a lot of people get us confused with the commercial realtor. So the easiest way to explain that is just like a residential realtor helps someone help buy and sell a home, we do that for a business. Again, a lot of people will confuse us with a commercial realtor, which we do have our real estate license in case the brick and mortar does come with the business, but really we're about the business in and of itself.
Okay. And if I can ask you, so you talked a little bit about that being that, but working with the business broker, give me a little bit more of how is that any different than a commercial real estate person or a CPA for that matter?
Oh, such a good question. And I'm really glad you asked, because I think to your point, this is a really good place where a lot of the community can get confused. So in residential real estate, all of the sales are public transactions. That's why you can go to Zillow or Google and look up what your home might be worth. But business transactions are all private. The sales numbers aren't published. So finding out what another laundromat or dry cleaner or swim shop sold for is really challenging, which is exactly why you need to come to a business broker, because commercial real estate agents can tell you what the building might lease or sell for, but not what the business is worth. And the same with the CPA. They can analyze tax returns or profit and loss statements. But Jeff does all of our brokers' opinion of value, and he has like proprietary programs that he uses to do that. You want to talk a little bit more about BOV?
Yeah. So the evaluation with that, a lot of people, that's the first question they'll ask, like, what's my business worth? And unfortunately, they hear from their friend or a YouTuber, hey, you should get 4 to 6 times what your business is worth. And that's not really the case. It is actually industry dependent. And so we look at that. We actually look at the actual sales. We look at what the person's actually bringing home and that type of information. I'm able to recast some of that information if some of it might be personal, but then I'm able to actually give them an actual value of business first based on proprietary information to get them those comps.
That's awesome, folks. And I see some questions or comments actually have been popping in and out too. And I have one here from David Bear as well too. Everyone's thinking about getting into business, but few think about how they're going to get out, right? Lack of an exit strategy, and that's very problematic. I'm sure you guys see this all the time as well too, right?
We see this all the time, which is exactly why we also partner with CPAs and financial planners, because especially with the financial planners, when people come to us to sell their business, we can help them get top dollar and then turn that back over to the financial planner, which is going to help people plan, like, how are they going to use that money in their retirement? And often the CPAs are working, doing business taxes, and they know when someone might be thinking about exiting. And as you mentioned, Carlos, like, we're really low key. Like, if people are curious, call us, text us, email us, send us the carrier pigeon. We're happy to have a conversation with you. And I also do exit strategy coaching, and just, pick up the phone and do a phone call and help them out.
And Dave made a great point. The fact that people plan for their 401ks, they plan for their retirement, but they don't plan on what they're going to do once they go to exit their business. And sometimes they come to us, hey, I plan on retiring last year. I've kind of taken my foot off the gas. Well, if you've done that and your sales have gone down, that's going to actually go into your valuation as well. So want to make sure that they talk to us 2 to 3 years if possible before they're even planning about exiting. The sooner the better, for sure.
And folks, I just again want to welcome you guys to the Upland Forum. Please make sure that you watch the beginning of the show as we are here with Jeff and Janet, really transforming our entire business community, right, through the Transworld business advisors, I should say. I'm getting tongue twisted here a moment. One of the things I also want to tell you folks is, like, you're talking about getting people calling you and talking to you. And one thing that I want to make sure that folks watching or listening are crystal clear on: what you see is what you get, folks. This is them, man. They're not, business brokers aren't scary people. They're just down to earth. They have a good time, and they'll get you through the process without having that. You hear about the word business or you hear the word broker, and all of a sudden, if you're not familiar with them, it becomes like the scary word that it's the unknown, right? I'm also going to post down here, if you look at, as we're streaming as well too, I'm going to put their website on there. So make sure that you guys get a hold of them as well. All their contact information is there. So make sure you take note of that. I'll make sure that we continue to post this before the end of the show as well too. So with that said, I know it's, we've been talking a little bit about some of this stuff as well, but for someone, let's say for someone like me, for example, for someone like David who inquire, is looking to sell their business, what are the first steps that we should take into account, and how does your team assist in that process?
Sure. Yeah. Well, the first step is pick up the phone and call us, fill out a form on the website, shoot us an email. I think it all starts with a conversation, right? Like, what are your goals? How soon are you looking to achieve them? What are you worried about? We like to ask a lot of questions when we first meet with someone to see how we can best serve them. And if we're the right fit, great. We're going to take you through our process and explain what that looks like, how long it will take, what the end results will be for you. And if we're not the good fit, then we also try to give them some direction on either things that they might be able to do so that they can create an exit strategy, or what some other options would be. So the first step would be just starting a conversation.
Excellent. And as you've gone through this, what are some of the most common challenges that you see business owners face when they're trying to sell or expand? And how does Transworld help them, right, overcome this?
Yeah. So the first thing, obviously, when they come to us is like, honestly, what's my business worth? And the first thing that we really understand is What does their books and records look like? They need to have good financials. Hopefully they're working with a good bookkeeper or CPA that's keeping everything up to date. Because as we're going through that, we kind of find that some people go, oh, I really haven't worked on this. I really haven't worked on my financials. So making sure they have good books and records. Also, if they got a good process, even if they have it in the back of their mind, they should really kind of jot that down. Like Jenna was talking about, we want to make sure that's able to be transitioned onto the next entrepreneur, the person that wants to take on that legacy. It also helps the person not calling them on the transition of, hey, how'd you do this again? If you have the processes in place, the documentation, it's so much easier to pass that on.
Absolutely.
And so I would say with what you mentioned on there was would you say that maybe those are the top 3 things a business owner should prepare before listing their business, or what advice would you give, Mike, as your top 3? I know every business is different, but if I'm thinking, let's say we'll use me as an example, as a technology company, what are maybe top 3 things that I'm not thinking about that I should be ready before I say, hey, Jeff and Jen, I'm ready. Let's do this, right? But I don't have anything ready. So
I would say tax returns, profit and loss, and having your sales at the top of your game. As Jeff was talking about earlier, like the best time to sell is when the business is profitable, when sales are going up, not like when you start to relax or take your foot off the gas or stop doing some marketing and you're thinking about retirement, you're starting to focus somewhere else. So it's really when you're at the top of your game and your financials are in order.
And just like your listener Dave talked about hidden liabilities, yeah, they're absolutely critical. And that's something that we'll actually talk about during your financials and your balance sheet, what that looks like, because majority of our sales are through asset sales, which means the person is actually getting the assets of the business. They're not buying the entity, so they're buying the liabilities from that standpoint. So to that standpoint, we walk the potential sellers through that entire process so they have a good understanding.
And I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but I want to give you an opportunity just to give us some takeaways, right? Like something to wrap up the show that when I think about selling my business and so forth, it's going to be, you guys are the folks to call.
Yep. Well, and the major thing with selling a business is people go, oh my gosh, I've got to worry about this plus the business. That's why you hire someone like us or a business broker, because you want to make sure we handle everything confidentially. We're making sure that potential buyers are actually signing non-disclosure. So all your information is actually held confidentially. And also the owners need to focus on selling their business. They need to make sure focus on the business itself so you keep your sales up. Where we handle all that and other information in the background, the seller doesn't have to worry about that part of the business. That's what we take care of. That's why you hire us.
Yeah. And
Excellent,
I think,
folks. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say to Jeff's point, also a lot of people will talk to like a business attorney when they're thinking about selling their business. And when you hire a business broker, we already have all the contracts and forms. So it's actually a lot less expensive to sell a business through a business broker than using an attorney.
That's awesome. And so you mean to tell me I don't have to keep growing gray hair, right? You guys will take care of that
That's
stuff.
right. Worry about the next stage of your life.
Exactly. And folks, if you're just joining us, here is the web address for our folks here today. Make sure that you guys are following them and make sure that you share this with your business friends as well too. Hang on a second here. Sorry, I'm getting all of these comments and stuff coming through. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to do this. I know time flies. I mean, there's so much more that we can talk about, but I know we're running out of time. So any last final thoughts before we wrap this up?
I would say just give us a call. Like Carlos said, we're, the people you're going to run into the grocery store, at happy hour, at your favorite restaurant. Our phone number is 909-552-7003. And we would love a call from you. We're happy to just have a conversation about your business goals and how we can serve you.
And no pressure, whether you want to come to our office or we can meet with you as well, whatever makes it easier for you.
Excellent. Well, again, I want to thank you guys for being great sports. I hope you guys had fun.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you. And I look forward to you guys tuning in next week as well, too. Remember that stay informed, stay engaged, follow us on the Upland website, follow us on social media, not only for the city website, but follow the Upland Forum. Follow me for more additional content as well, too, related to the city and other great business opportunities. Anyone that knows me, I'm all about business. I'm all about pro-business and helping our community thrive, because we all need to do this together, right? Make sure that you're also attending city meetings, remember that although you may not think so, your voice does matter for us, and support our local events, support our local businesses, our local restaurant, our local resources as well too. So thank you again for tuning in. We'll be back next week with some more updates from our city and another great business spotlight. Until then, make sure you guys share this out.
Thanks, Carl.